Whilst I was being abused, I went to many dark places. I self-harmed for quite some time. I was suicidal. I was really isolated.
This is Pearl's statement to the police that she made when she first disclosed what was happening. It feels really hard to just even hold this in my hands. It hurts.
Pearl, not her real name, fell victim to sexual abuse aged just 7. She's now 14.
6 years. Every second weekend. More than once.
The perpetrator was her father.
Most of what's in here is too explicit and too traumatic to read.
The reason I'm not showing my face is because the law doesn't actually allow me to. I would really like to tell him how much damage he's actually put on my life.
Is that you on your bike?
Then me on the bike.
Rosie's father assaulted me and assaulted her. I had some broken ribs, I had a spinal injury and a dislocated wrist. He hit her so hard she fell over, injured her back and hit her head and injured her shoulder. She was only 2.
Every 13 minutes, a child suffers abuse or neglect in Australia. Last year, over 40,000 kids were emotionally, physically or sexually abused. Most incidents occur in the child's own home, and thousands more cases go unreported.
I am taking a risk talking to you, which is why I'm not completely showing my identity. I have been threatened, but I still want my story to be told so that people who need help will find it and know it's okay to get that sort of help.
Hopi and her daughter Rosie, both not their real names, went into hiding for months to escape their attacker. Despite some assistance from authorities, Hopi says they had no other choice.
It was difficult, close to impossible, to get help for Rosie when she needed it. I was on the run. He tried very hard to find where I was. I couldn't communicate with family, I couldn't communicate with friends. I lost my home, I lost everything in order to save my life and to save Rosie's life.
Rosie's father, the alleged perpetrator, was never charged. He remains a free man. But now, she, along with hundreds of other victims of abuse, say they no longer live in fear.
I heard the rumble, and the rumble went on for a good minute or so before they actually showed. And they came, and they came, and they came, and they kept coming. I knew that I was no longer alone and that people were going to fight my corner.
I was really nervous. I was hesitant. This was going to be a safe thing for us to do. They're bikers still at the end of the day.
I thought they were going to shoot me. Like, that's legitimate.
Backa fills a void that no one else can. You know, the police, the counsellors, the system works within time limits and constraints. We don't.
Pearl, Phoenix, Hopi and Rosie's stories all took an unexpected turn when this crew of bikers rode into their lives.
The people of Backa are everyday people, professionals, labourers that have a passion for motorcycles and helping kids. The law enforcement, they certainly know what we do, they know who we are. Perhaps behind the scene, I think they even probably approve of what we do and who we are. But openly, they're not going to go there because our society doesn't accept it, so they can't be seen to accept it.
Backa stands for Bikers Against Child Abuse. They're on call for kids 24/7. Today, we're in Adelaide, home to the largest Backa chapter in Australia.
This is the first time we've let cameras in our hangout, so come inside and have a look, mate.
There are people around who think Backa are a vigilante group. I was very sceptical initially, but the more the process went on, the more comfortable I became, realising that these people had a very, very powerful tool that they were using that nobody else was able to do.
They take that whole stereotypical image of the biker and use it in a positive way. They'll do anything for us. They're not vigilantes. They don't go after perpetrators.
Single narrow focus is to remove the fear from those children who are the victims of child abuse. We will be an obstacle to anything. If people feel intimidated by our presence, they've probably got something to feel guilty about. We don't go out of our way to be anything other than a show of force.
On average, we take on a case a month. They're all extreme and they're all equally important. We've just come here today to do what we call a follow-up. We've been part of Phoenix and Pearl's life now for the best part of 6 or 7 months.
They're like friends that were there from the beginning. I know if I need them for whatever reason, I can call them at 1 o'clock in the morning and they will come around and they will be here if I need. I do feel safer now.
Kids shouldn't have to live in fear. I don't get paid to do this. Seeing kids live a normal life, that's my payday.
There's a lot of change in Pearl, like she's our little hero.
There's a little spark, a little light in a child's eyes, the lack of fear of the world. I saw it in other children that didn't have it, and I wanted to be a part of a process that would go some way to putting that freedom and that spark back in their eye.
To become a member of BACA is a process that can take, a minimum for our chapter 18 months. We have a complete background, complete criminal check done on every individual, and I wouldn't want to be the one that came into an organisation like BACA and tried to scam us. It's not going to end well.
The brainchild of therapist and biker John Paul Lilly, BACA was established in Utah more than 20 years ago.
We refer to him as Chief. He realised that with the children he was working with that they would come in, have a session and be good, go away and the fear would return. And it just clicked in his mind that the idea of involving bikers in their life would allow them perhaps to live without fear a little longer, and it just grew from there.
One of the reasons that we work is because we are bikers and people the general public have a conception about what a biker is. Oh, badass mother, I won't say that, which we are to a certain degree.
BACA boasts more than 3,000 members in 9 countries. With chapters in all states, BACA Australia has over 100 active bikers. The organisation operates on donations and fundraising and is not affiliated with any religion. They've now helped thousands of kids worldwide.
I'm the first child in Australia that got taken in by BACA, and my journey has been long and hard.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You're looking well.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent.
Do you want a coffee? When I was a child, from the ages of 7 to 10, I was being sexually abused by one of our family friends. BACA come into my life when I was 10, and they've always been there. I'm 19 now and they're still here for me today. The experience of what happened, it was very traumatic, it was very scary. But since then, and since being with BACA, my whole life has turned around.
Going to court against your father is not easy. I didn't see it as going to court against my father, it was me going to court against my abuser.
Just weeks ago, Pearl's abuser was charged with persistent sexual assault of a child. He's currently in custody, awaiting sentencing.
When I think about him now, it's really painful. If he could realise what he did and legitimately be sorry for that, it'll probably make my day.
From here, I know that Pearl is going to do great things. I know that she'll succeed, and I know that she's going to come out of this shining.
If I could say anything to you, Mum, it would be, you are amazing. I aspire to be the mum that you are to me when I have my kids later in life. I want to be like you.
When I reflect back on things and the long journey behind me, I can sit here and go, wow, look, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be who I am today.
Scruffy, not her real name, and her partner are expecting their first child. She's now 6 months pregnant.
I can't wait to tell my son about BACA and how they helped me.
Put your helmet on?
Yeah.
I wish I discovered BACA earlier. It would have saved Rosie some grief, I think. However, she's learnt a lot from what she's been through, and she's a really tough kid. Where to from here is forward. Battle the fear. Don't let the fear conquer you. It's worth the fight.
We help one child, it's helping their family, it's changing that child's life. And if we can have children that grow up to be undamaged adults, then we're going to have a better world.
So, you still want to become a psychologist? Yes.
I just want to say to anyone who's going through abuse that it will get better, and it is really tough, but don't give in, because just like when you shoot an arrow, you pull it back and then it goes flying forwards. You just need to stay strong